Just gotta fix that. Oops. All right. What's going on, everybody? You already know what it is. Your boy Narcolepsy Boy 94 came a leak back here again with another special podcast. First time ever guest on the channel. I'll let my man introduce himself, and then we'll go ahead and talk some pro wrestling. Nothing crazy today. No drafts or anything. I know a lot of people on my channel usually watch the drafts that I usually do for my channel. No drafts. Got an upcoming draft in the future still planning, but just gonna talk some good old pro wrestling. You know, just old stuff, newer stuff, anything. We go with the flow. So I'll let my man over here introduce himself.
Hi, how y'all doing? My name is Lou Nonsense, former TikTok World Heavyweight Champion. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. So we already got a comment and thing. We kind of talked about it off air. So you're from the Attitude Era of wrestling. So what made you fall in love with wrestling in the first place? Like what first caught your eye? Like, oh, this is something I gotta kind of. Is there like a superstar that you first saw that gravitated toward, or maybe it was a storyline or something?
No, you don't say the superstar. Funny story. I've told this story before. First time I ever watched wrestling, I was a kid, and I didn't have cable. I didn't have cable at all. So like, we had like the super basic stuff. So it was this one channel. I don't know what it was called. It would show like a preview to an upcoming pay-per-view. For this particular case, it was like In Your House.
Yeah.
And the match they put on there was Triple H against Owen Hart, like when he was in DX, and Owen Hart was in the Nation of Domination. And another one was like Stone Cold and The Rock. Both matches, I was like, oh, this is super cool. This is super cool. But the one guy that caught my eye the most was Steve Austin. Because he was whooping The Rock up and down, later on when The Rock got popular, obviously that became my guy afterwards. But, that was the one that like sucked me in, you know what I mean?
Steve Austin, yeah. I mean, I think anybody who grew up in the Attitude Era, if you ask 90, maybe 95% of people, if you ask them who their favorite wrestler was from the Attitude Era, Steve Austin is probably going to be the top answer. If not him, it's going to be if it's not Steve Austin, it's probably going to be The Rock. But Steve Austin is like the majority of the answer. He like, we've debated this on my channel many times, but to me, this is just my opinion. I think he's the biggest superstar ever in the history of pro wrestling. Like, he's the biggest draw ever. Vince McMahon has even said that he's the one superstar who's made him the most money at any superstar. So, I mean, he like changed wrestling at a bad time. Because you remember, like, in those mid-90s, they were doing, like, those corny characters and everything in WCW. Yeah. And WCW was tearing them apart in ratings, and all of a sudden they just transformed themselves, and Steve Austin became who he was. And it just – he saved WWE at their pinnacle point, man. It was like – it was cool to see at that time, because they did a lot of stuff back in those era that you couldn't really do today. Like, there was a lot of things that they did. Like, I'm sure you got the network. You've gone back and watched many stuff. You're just like, how in the hell did this even, like, was this even on TV? Like, I'm talking about like live TV. This stuff was crazy. So, who were some of your other favorites from that era besides Steve Austin? Were there other superstars that you gravitated towards too?
Oh yeah. Like pretty much the D-Generation X, The Rock. Later on, the Undertaker. I enjoyed the Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, great character.
That's when being a heel was at his pinnacle right there. That was like the greatest heel, one of the greatest heels of all time, Mr. McMahon. And you just wanted to come back and watch Steve Austin just whoop his ass each week. So it was like, I love the Vince McMahon, the Undertaker, Kurt Angle when he got into the mix, Jericho. Chris Jericho is one of my all-time favorites.
So were you a WCW? Did you watch WCW back then too? It sounded like you were a WWF guy more than WCW, but
I was a WWF guy more than WCW, but I did watch WCW.
Okay. So who were some of your favorites?
Sorry. I was first introduced to Chris Jericho through WCW. Back then, my favorites in WCW was Goldberg, Sting, and Sting. Who else was there? Oh, obviously Jericho. Ultimo Dragon, like the whole cruiserweight, the whole cruiserweight division was amazing. There's one more. It was like, it's slipping off my head right now. I had it. Oh, NWO. Not Hogan mostly, but NWO, like that whole group before it got oversaturated. I was a big fan of them.
All right, somebody in the chat has a question. He said, "What is your favorite feud?" So I guess your favorite feud, maybe of all time, or some of your favorites.
Man, for me, it's hard to label out just one because it's so.
Just name a couple. Yeah, just name like.
I'm gonna name a couple. My favorite feud. I'm gonna go more in the modern era. Is Gargano versus Ciampa. because that was just like long term booking there. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was crazy.
That's why I loved it so much, because of the booking was so long. Like, just one thing about wrestling that I miss so much is the long term storylines, man. That really, I really appreciated that storyline. I mean, it probably went on longer than it because Ciampa got hurt a few times in between the injury, but it made it better. When he came back, it always revived itself. So I do love that feud. Go ahead. What are some other ones?
Another one, well, obviously, I'm gonna get the obvious on the way. McMahon Austin, that was my favorite feud. Another my favorite feud. I'm gonna go to New Japan, Omega and Okada. I love that.
Damn good feud.
The series of matches they had, the series of matches they had was just like, oh Lord, I can't.
Yeah,
it just got better each time.
It was incredible. Yeah, no doubt. I would say some of mine. I love John Cena, CM Punk. Their feud was really good because they matched very well. John Cena and Edge was also a really good feud that I loved. Yes. Batista and Triple H, I remember their feud after he broke an Evolution. I was really into that, like heavily. Gargano and Ciampa, Austin McMahon, obviously that's even Rock and Triple H back in those days. They had a really good feud back in those days too. So
yeah, speaking of sorry to cut you off. Speaking of Batista, Triple H, do you remember Triple H invisible shirt situation when he's beating out Batista? He had his shirt off already. He's beating out Batista. He's outside. He just does this for no reason. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that. Not what was this 05? 05?
It was like around that time when there were a few. I think it was like building towards their I think their Hell in a Cell match. I think Triple H was like just returning.
I don't remember that. I don't remember. I have to go
YouTube it.
I have to go back. You have to send me the link on TikTok. I had to because I don't remember that. If I saw it, I probably remember it, but that doesn't ring a bell.
I'll send it to you. That shit was hilarious.
Someone else in the chat wants to know, what are your thoughts on Clash of Champions?
Clash of Champions? The opening match and the last match was good. That's what like kept me in. But everything in between, it kind of felt like Monday Night Raw, pretty much.
Yeah, that's enough said right there. That's all you can say. I mean, the ladder match and the main event was really the reasons I would watch it, to be honest. And I was telling people on my TikTok, this version of Roman Reigns is gonna be like the best thing ever, dude. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this kind of Roman Reigns for so long. You have no idea. Like, I've always been a fan of Roman Reigns. Like, I liked him in the Shield. I liked him after the Shield, but I always felt bad for him because he was getting those John Cena reactions, and I always felt like nobody can get those reactions except for John Cena because it only worked for him. It was his identity for so long. And you just feel like anybody else who gets that reaction, you're just going to feel like they're making them another John Cena. You don't want that. And that's how Roman Reigns felt for so long, you know what I mean? And they pushed him in the main event WrestleMania for 4 years. And it was like, oh, my God, like, nobody wants this guy to be in this spot. But he's good, but like we don't want him to be in this spot because of how you're booking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. It was more of a timing. They weren't like they loved Roman Reigns, but they weren't ready to like have him at that. Like the fans weren't ready to have him at that spot yet because Daniel Bryan was just returning, and Daniel Bryan was the people's guy. You know what I mean? But obviously, when Daniel Bryan's health issues, you know what I mean, you got to go to the younger guy. Roman Reigns, when he was first breaking off by himself, he was dope. You saw that like when Batista and him were at the last of the Royal Rumble. That reaction for Roman was insane. People wanted Roman to win. But,
fast forward 1 year later. Yeah, fast forward 1 year later. It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. And then, they had the Sucker and Succotash promo that really hurt him.
So bad. Remember the Magic Bean promo? Oh, my gosh, dude. The one he did on Big Show. It was the Magic Bean promo. God, that was so bad, man. And I always if you go back, I remember you probably felt the same way when you go back 2015 when Roman was announced to be in the main event with Brock. He just didn't feel like a main eventer. You know what I'm saying? Like he just didn't feel like.
He didn't feel like it. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't feel like obviously Brock is Brock Lesnar, so okay, Brock, but like Roman just didn't feel like a main eventer yet. You know what I'm saying? Now credit due, their match was really good. Their match was a great match, and the ending was perfect. So it was smart booking, but it just didn't feel like he was deserving to be there yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy, he just came out of the Shield like a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he really that guy yet? But then they put him in the main event 3 years in a row after that. It's just like, oh, okay, Roman Reigns, Yeah,
it kind of felt forced at that point.
Yeah, so I dig. All he needs now is just to change the theme. He's already wrestled without the shirt now, so all we need is the theme to change, and he'll just be, he'll be set for me. So let's take one more question, and we'll get back to the question. Well, let's see. Did you like how Jericho was double champ? So when he was the undisputed champion, did you like how he beat Austin and Rock on the same night?
As a kid, no. Growing up, I appreciated it then. But what I hated is how he was booked after. Because he did not feel like a big deal like afterwards. You know what I mean? And then he had the main event. He was playing second fiddle to Stephanie McMahon. And like, he's the champion. Look what you're doing.
Yeah, and I always felt bad for him and Triple H because they had to follow Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania. When that should have been the easily main event of WrestleMania. I've even heard stories about how Triple H and Jericho were begging Vince to put that on last. You know what I'm saying? Like they were willing to give up the main event of WrestleMania because they know that's the marquee match that everybody is waiting for. You know what I mean? And nobody, and once that match happened, everybody that is one of the most electrifying crowds I've ever seen in a match, ever. It was insane. After that match, I honestly felt bad for him. I was like, man, I feel so bad for these guys, bro. Because like, not only does Triple H come with injury, but you can't follow that. It's the same situation with Triple H and Randy when they had to follow Shawn Michaels. Undertaker.
I was about to mention that. Yeah.
There's nobody's following that. Like that's not even. You might as well close the show right there. Just WrestleMania's over with. You know, feel me? Like, and they had a really good feud. Orton and Triple H, great feud that year. That is one of my favorite WrestleMania feuds of all time. And I still, to this day, think they should have made that match no holds barred because how personal the feud was. Because if they'd have made it a no holds barred, it could have been a lot better than it was. You know what I'm saying? The physicality and everything could have been great, but
I mean, because you look at the build up coming up. You know, I mean, a regular match, like this dude, like punt your family in the head, and RKO'd your wife, and then kissed her on the cheek when she was unconscious.
And he's handcuffed in the corner.
If I was booking that, I'm like, we throwing hands. Like, come on, huh? No regular wrestling match.
Funny stories. I don't know if you heard the story about Taker and Shawn going to that WrestleMania. So going into that WrestleMania, they were only booked to have like 15 minutes, something like that, in that match. Like they were like given 15 minutes. Yeah, so they were given because Undertaker talked about it. You know, I think after once he started coming out of his character and doing all interviews. He said that, or maybe it wasn't Undertaker. I think it was the referee who was in that match. He did a podcast on Jericho's podcast, and he was talking about how they were only given 15 minutes for the WrestleMania match, and Taker and Shawn were in the locker room together. I think it was like 2 weeks for WrestleMania at a Raw, right? Just talking about what they're gonna do or whatever. And I guess Michael Hayes was the agent of the match, and he came up to him and told him, you guys got 15 minutes, and he said that Taker and Shawn Taker and Shawn kind of looked at each other like, what? How much time were we getting? And they kind of looked at each other, and he was like, Shawn, how long you been in this company? He was like, pretty much my whole life. And he was like, Taker was like, I've been in this company longer than I've had marriages. And he was like, he told Michael Hayes, you need to go back and get that fixed. And he came back, and they had like 35 something minutes. It was switched immediately. It was something changed, and they were even upset too how close the match was on the card. Like it was like maybe like the 4th to 5th match at WrestleMania that year. I can't remember, but like they were like upset about that. You know what I mean? Like how it was like so close to the card. I can't remember. Was it like the 4th, 5th match at WrestleMania? I can't remember. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5. I can't really remember.
I think it was
because they had the Money in the Bank first, and then it was
first. I think it was like a tag match after
Battle Royal, the Divas Battle Royal, then Jericho fought the Legends.
Yeah,
and then Matt and Jeff had their match, and I think it was after that. I think it was after that match.
Yeah, I think it was after that.
Yeah, I think it was after that match. No, you know what? I remember now because Matt and Jeff had their match, and then JBL and Mysterio had that like 2-second match when JBL retired. Then it was after that match. So technically, like the 5th match, right? But when they found out they were that close to the card, Taker looked at Shawn and said that, well, we turning this up to a new level. And, like, the referee was like, oh, shit, like, it's about to, they about to tear it down. And
it's about to go down.
And they said it's crazy, too, because, the finish of the match, when he did the moonsault and he put him in the tombstone, he said that they practiced that all week and Shawn Michaels couldn't do it. Like, he just couldn't land it. And they had a B plan. Like, if it didn't work, they had a plan, like, how they would just do something else. And he said right when Shawn was about to go out, the referee went up to him and he said, hey, so we're still doing the B plan, right? Because he couldn't hit the moonsault. Yeah. And Shawn was like, we ain't going to need plan B. And he was like, oh, shit. Like, it's about to be crazy. And he hit that bitch perfectly, bro. Like,
clutch moment, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. What is your so somebody in the chat wants to know what is your favorite Intercontinental and United States champion? I guess of all time. So who were your favorites? If you don't have one, you can name just a couple.
Favorite Intercontinental champion. That's a tough one. I really enjoyed Jericho.
Yeah,
just
Jericho.
How many he had.
Yeah.
But also the Miz, because
I was getting ready to say the same thing, dude. Yeah, I was getting ready to say the same
last
thing.
run, because he elevated that belt, especially after that talking smack promo he did on Daniel Bryan. I was just like, and then the next week he cuts even more. I'm just like, I'm invested back in the Miz now. You know what I mean? Like,
that 2016 Miz and that feud they had with Dolph Ziggler was great, man. That really made the title. That really made the title feel important. You know what I'm saying? It made the title
that title it main evented on that feud, I think. Yeah, it did main event.
Yeah, I think you're right, because Ziggler put his career on the line and everything. Like, it was like it was really good stuff, man. I was gonna say the Miz. I would say the Miz and Jericho probably like 1 or 2 for me. Like those two, and I would throw Macho Man and Randy Savage in there too for me for Intercontinental champion. But Miz is the last one that made it relevant to me. Like, there's nobody else who has it now that I feel like has made it relevant since. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say the Miz. So as the Attitude Era progressed, we get into the Ruthless Aggression Era. Were you one of those fans who kind of fell out of wrestling a little bit? Because there was a lot of fans from the Attitude Era who said they fell out of wrestling a little bit because of how it changed and everything. Or were you always just like you loved it? Like, did you love the Ruthless Aggression Era?
Oh yeah. I kept up as much as I could. You know what I mean? Because growing up, I didn't have cable. When I got cable, I still had the basic cable, but I don't know if you remember, back when SmackDown was on UPN.
Yeah.
I was watching. That's the only time I could watch regularly. Then I got regular cable, and then I was watching it like any chance I could.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the majority of the times I watched more SmackDown than I did Raw, and I kept up
100%.
Even in high school, I was still watching it. People, people interested. Like, it was like, nigga, you still watching wrestling? What's wrong with you? I was like, it's fun. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with wrestling?
Right.
I got clowned a bit, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, I think everybody, any wrestling fan who grew up watching wrestling, we all had the time period where, like, it was like uncool to watch wrestling. You know what I mean? Because it was like, it was looked at as fake and everything. But I was like, bro, like, it's my thing, bro. Like, stop ranting about me. Like, this is what I like. You feel me? Like, this, I understand it. That's why, like, the people who continue to watch wrestling and evolve and fall in love with it like us, we start to understand how the business is. We don't care that we don't care that people aren't really getting punched or anything. That's not the point. We don't care.
That's the point, right?
It's storytelling. It's emotional. We've all felt all types of emotion from wrestling, bro. We've all been mad. We've all cried. We've all been happy. We've all felt. That's what wrestling's about, bro. Like, that's the first time. I don't know how you felt. The first time I ever felt any type of emotion during wrestling, and I was a kid too, but this is like when I really first felt something like, oh man, like I was heated. Like, was the John Cena and Edge feud. They're going into the match at SummerSlam, and it's John Cena's hometown, and I'm like, I think like this was maybe like a week before I was going to go back to school, right? And I begged my mom to order the pay-per-view. I was like, bro, I have to see John Cena win the belt because John Cena's my favorite wrestler of all time. This is my guy as a kid. I'm like, bro, I got to see him win the belt back. This guy slapped his dad in the face. Like, John Edge disrespected him like this, like he's about to beat his ass.
Oh, wait, yeah. That was the one that he was in Canada. That was the one in Canada. Yeah, Edge's hometown.
Yeah. That was the TLC match, but this is the match before. So this is at SummerSlam.
Before that, okay.
So this is building up to it, and I remember the finish. I'll never forget the finish. It's when John Cena had Edge in the STF, and Lita, he grabbed the ropes, and Lita slid the brass knuckles on his hands, right? So I'm like, oh, ref. I'm like, ref, you got to turn around. He got the brass knuckles, and John Cena went to pick him up for the back then it was called the FU, but they call it the AA now. Yeah. So when he had him with the FU, and he kind of slipped off, and the referee got distracted, and he hit him in the back of the head with those brass knuckles, and he 1, 2, 3, bro. My soul was hurt, dude. I was so hurt, bro. I remember how I felt that day, bro. I was enraged, bro. Like, I could not believe. You couldn't convince me he was losing that match. Like, he's not losing, especially in John Cena.
Won everything.
So he definitely that definitely really was the first time that I felt something in wrestling. But like even now, man, like we're adults now, but you still kind of feel something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's whether it's good or bad. Wrestling is about emotion. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what brings it out.
Yeah, I just want to touch up on that. As far as like emotion, one of the most, besides this past Sunday about something being super emotional, Kofi Mania, the Like, I kid you not. I don't cry on a lot of things. I didn't cry here, but I was close. The Elimination Chamber match that ended. Wow, he was this close to winning it. And then you had a New Day, Xavier Woods and Big E coming and console Kofi in the ring. And I'm just like, damn, man.
Yeah.
And then he actually won it in WrestleMania. And that video that surfaced of Shad Gaspard and MVP watching in the bar and they tearing up. I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, but a lot of people
get back in their tear. I'm not crying.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I liked Kofi from the start. I always liked him, and I really liked him. Remember in 2009 when he was feuding with Orton, when like he was starting to get a little more serious. Like, oh man, Kofi could be somebody. You know what I'm saying? But the main reason a lot of us want to win because he was black. Like we've never seen like a really black WWE champion besides The Rock, but he doesn't really. He owns more of the Samoan side. You know what I'm saying? Because that's more of his culture. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's why we was rooting for him. Like, bro, we want to see something. We want to see that.
Like, I want to see that. And he's West African, I'm also West African. I'm Sierra Leone. He's Ghana. We're neighbors. I was like, all right, that African born. I was like, let's go. It's
kind of the same situation with Mark Henry when he was doing the Hall of Fame stuff. Like, I wanted him to be the World Heavyweight Champion. I was happy when he beat Randy Orton. I was extremely happy for him. You know what I'm saying? So those were very, very emotional moments. Well, let's go down. Let's give me a moment in wrestling that really like pissed you off. Like, give me one that pissed you off in a bad way and a good way. So like it was good stuff and it pissed you off, and like it was something good that pissed you off and something bad. So like creative wise, it was terrible and really made you mad. And then something that was really good in wrestling that like really made you mad, but it was good.
Oh, okay. One feud that pissed me off because it was so bad was I think it was last year's Hell in a Cell with the Fiend and everything.
Bro,
and also
I was getting ready, that was gonna be mine, no doubt. I got a reaction like that on my YouTube channel, bro. I'll send it to you. I was never. That's probably the first time I've ever been mad in a long time.
Me and X-Pac had the same reaction. I was like, how is there disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match? Stupid. And and 2 years in a row it ends in like no contest. I'm just like, you're like killing the gimmick of the match now. You're killing the prestige of that match now. Another one, it has to do with the Fiend again. Goldberg beating the Fiend clean.
Yeah, a Super Showdown. Yeah.
I think one of my TikToks went viral because of it. Because I just went in, I was just like, I was doing like this whole reenactment. I'm like, go in, I wash my face, I come out, I turn my like LED lights to red because I'm about to rant, and I just go off because the Fiend was like white hot at the time. You know what I mean? And they're doing everything in their power to fuck it up. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, that's WWE nowadays, man. Anything good, that's why you can't trust them nowadays, bro. Like you can't trust them. When the whole retribution stuff was coming out, I was like, you know what? It seems good, but it's too good to be true. And then all of a sudden, they started dropping their retribution names, and I'm like, here we go. You know what I'm saying?
I only like one of those names because it reminds me of a character in Call of Duty. That's Mace. That's it.
Yeah. Other than that, it was bad. So what's something good in wrestling that pissed you off? That was like, it was good when it happened, and it's still good, but it just really made you, maybe because you were a kid and you're like, oh.
Shoot, a lot. I'm picking a lot of the more recent ones. Definitely Triple H turning on Daniel Bryan and SummerSlam after Daniel Bryan just beat John Cena. Daniel Bryan was my guy that time. Even like before he had the title shot, Daniel Bryan was my guy. He's still my guy. He was definitely my guy at the time. I was at college doing my Yes Chance. I was doing Yes Chance even before he started doing it. I was like, it was crazy. And when that happened, I was like, okay. We can't have anything nice no more. Why?
Yeah. That was definitely it was a cool, good moment, but it was definitely shocking. I didn't see that coming at all. You know what I'm saying? When he came out with the Money in the Bank and he was kind of teasing, and he walked away and he hit him with the pedigree. He came back in, and I was like, oh, dude, like that. But it made for a good story though. It was great because
it made for overall it
made for a good Daniel Bryan underdog story. You know what I'm saying? Because WrestleMania he got his moment and everything, so it was definitely cool. Who were some superstars as a kid that you hated as a kid? Like, oh man, I couldn't stand this guy when I was a kid.
Shoot, I hated. Oh man, because I don't know, I was biased. I liked a lot of people, but like the few people I did not like. I did not like Jamie Noble. later
Why
on,
Jamie Noble?
Jamie Noble, I didn't like it. I just didn't like it at the time. But then, when you grow up, you appreciate it a lot more. As a kid, I didn't like Jamie Noble as much. I did not like Vito. As far as like main eventers, I hated Triple H at one point. Like I hated Triple H.
You talking about the Reign of Terror?
Y'all, even before that, because he kept beating the Rock. So I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
He kept beating the Rock, you know what I mean, off of like bull crap. And I was like, I hate this so much. But appreciate it. But also the Reign of Terror, especially when he did the Booker T. Oh yeah, hatred level went to the roof.
We can never forget about that, bro. For me, there were always three people that I hated the most as a kid: Edge, JBL, and King Booker. I absolutely hate
King Booker.
I hated those three so much, man. What a passion, bro. And Randy was in there a little bit, but not as much because I always liked Randy Orton. But
the finisher.
Edge for sure, man. Edge couldn't stand JBL, King Booker. Oh, dude, I hated King Booker so much as a kid, bro. I couldn't stand him, dude. Like, and obviously now you appreciate it. It's a great character.
Oh yeah, JBL. He was also one on my list, man. I hate that.
JBL. Oh man, me too, bro.
He just did some shit that, like, when my sense of humor started kicking in a lot more, and I started roasting people. Like the stuff he did kind of made me laugh. No racial, but that border thing he did was hilarious. That was pretty funny. But also, I was like, damn, they really went there.
Yeah, that's something they can do today on TV. There's no way
they can't do that today. No, they can't.
Yeah, there's no way they could do that in today's world because it would be looked at completely different. I posted that video on my TikTok months ago, actually, and there were actually people in there, like, who were like, appreciative of it.
People that really don't know that happened.
Yeah, there were a lot of people who were like, appreciative of it back then because wrestling was different back in 2004. But fast forward now, 2020, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that could ever happen today.
Yeah, another thing about that, like something like that, people forgot Alberto Del Rio did that too. Only he wasn't like a full-blown skit. He did it in a promo.
Another thing too is that fans in today are so hypocritical and so judgmental. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these people, for example, hated the Jeff Hardy storyline, right? When he was the recent one, when he was doing and everything. But people don't realize that they did this shit back in 2009 with CM Punk. Did the same exact thing with CM Punk back in the day, and people loved it. People were like, "Oh, this is great stuff." You know what I'm saying? Like this good storytelling. It made CM Punk look great because he was straight edge. So, he was doing the whole straight edge society thing, and people loved it. And then fast forward 9 years later, people hate like, "Oh, they're putting Jeff's personal life into this." I'm like, bro, like number one,
stories come from that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Sometimes those personal storylines are the best ones. Two, how do you know Jeff Hardy wasn't okay with this? Do you not know that maybe he was okay with it? I mean, they had to come to him. He had to come to some type of agreement to it to even do it at some point.
That's true. Or what if he pitched it?
Could be. Right. What if he pitched the story? What if it's an idea? Like, you know what? I think maybe we should do something like this. Because wrestling fans aren't super. They're with social media. It's hard to keep things private nowadays. I mean, so it's everybody's personal life is out there for a celebrity. So we know that we've known for years he's been an addict, but they've done stuff like that for years with this stuff. Even with the whole Aaliyah and Seth Rollins and Murphy storyline right now.
With people have a problem with that one.
Because of the age, because of people. She's 19, he's like in his 30s, and everybody's like,
okay.
They're doing this romance thing. I'm like, bro. First off, she's an adult. She's 19. She's not a kid. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number two, there's no way this story would have gotten approved if Rey Mysterio and his wife weren't okay with this somehow. If they didn't approve of this, you can't tell me that they wouldn't have done this. Okay.
Like Rey Mysterio, he's a legend. He's up there like that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Right. In the business, it's money. It's all about business, bro. This
it's still weird. It still feel kind of weird, but I understand. It's entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's still a little weird, but I don't think it's like a romance thing. I think it's more of like
sympathetic, like manipulation.
Sympathy. Is it gonna be a manipulation thing? Like Murphy was working her the whole time and she's gonna kind of like join them a little bit, and it was gonna be like a manipulation thing, or it's gonna be like she was bringing out a side of Murphy that maybe like because she said like Murphy's not like Seth, right? So maybe she's bringing out a side of him to show like kind of open him up like, hey, I'm not like Seth, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a messiah, you know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah,
And
but I also kind of what really upsets me. It's kind of like the story's kind of stupid in a sense, but I'm trying not to nitpick. I just want to let it like play out. I kind of think it's stupid, and I'm on Dominic's side. 'Cause I don't know if you watched Raw last night. I'm on Dominic's side. He's like, "Did you not say what this man did the pop?"
Right, yeah.
You know,
I like
his eyeball hanging out. You wanna. I would be if I was her brother. I'll be mad as hell.
Yeah, I think it's more of a manipulation thing because I think obviously you can tell that Seth's trying to divide the family. He's trying to break them. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to break them apart. So I can obviously with the story, and it makes him look great. I'm saying it makes his character look sick. It makes his character look manipulative because I like how when Seth does things, he always has reasons for it. Like when he did the Rey Mysterio with the eye, he was like, "You were a sacrifice." You know what I'm saying? Like he made it seem like it was reasonable to do that. You know what I'm saying? Even like it wasn't, but like in his mind, like I had to do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to get you to join me. You didn't want to join me, or you had to become a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So it's just sort of things like that. You know, I just think that I miss how, and maybe we didn't grow up in the social media era, so we didn't get to really see everybody's opinion in the world. But I just feel like fans are just so judgmental about everything, whether it's good or bad. It's just like you can't please everybody. Like nobody's ever happy with anything. Fans wanted Kofi Mania. They got Kofi Mania, and then like a month later, they wanted Kofi to lose the belt already. But y'all, Vince McMahon literally gave this to us. First of all, like I don't know if that was the.
I was seeing that pissed me off. I'm like, what?
I doubt that was the original plan for WrestleMania. I don't know for sure,
it wasn't. Originally, I don't know if it was gonna go to WrestleMania, but originally the spot was supposed to go to Ali, but that's when he got that concussion. He wasn't medically cleared.
Right.
So Ali's spot, like the whole way, like the gauntlet match and everything, that ended up going to Kofi. But then Kofi, made it real when he's going to AJ. He's like, "I waited 11 years for this. I waited 11 years for this." I'm just like, oh, okay, it's real now. And he was winning, you know what I mean? Even though he lost to AJ, but still, he got beat down before, so it didn't make him look weak in any sense. And it just like built him and made him like more of a viable threat. Because before, when they put him in, no one thought, oh, he's gonna, legit win this thing, and then they actually booked him stronger. So yeah, that's, I guess, and things like that, it works in your favor, but yeah, I lost my thoughts. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's see, let's take some more questions. What is the most underrated wrestler in WWE? He said, I think it's Shelton Benjamin. What do you think?
As far as the most, no, but is he underrated? Hell yes. He, I love the gold standard stuff he did before, but I'm liking how he's in a good spot now with MVP and Lashley and Cedric Alexander. Another one I would throw in is like underrated. Definitely. Cedric Alexander is another one I was gonna put out. He's very underrated. He's very good in the ring, but he's another one. He's in a better spot now. I don't know what they're gonna do with him now because he's in the Hurt Business, and then they do something like, oh, he's in Hurt Business boot camp because he made a mistake. I'm just like, MVP, you've lost like multiple times. What you mean boot camp?
I think from what I heard, when he comes back, he's supposed to have a different look. So I guess he's gonna have a different look or something. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I've said it many times on my podcast. I'm gonna stick with the same answer. One of the most underrated, underappreciated superstars of all time is Dolph Ziggler, bro. That dude is so good, and it's so bad now because he's just not important anymore, and you just don't care when he wrestles because he's not gonna win anything. And it's just
put so many people over so many times. That so
it just hurts my soul, bro. Because he's good on the mic, he's good in the ring, he's good at selling, he's good at everything, bro. This guy is so good, bro, and he's just not appreciated, bro. I just feel like he's so underappreciated in the ring, especially with how WWE treats him. I'm just like, bro, this guy is so good, man. It's like so many times when this guy could have been one of the hottest things going, and they go with it and they just pull the plug from him. You know what I mean? So
they pull the rug out from under him. We have so many start and stop pushes. You know what I mean? When you see him again, I'm just like, forget it.
Somebody else in the chat wants to know, how do you feel about the Shield's last match?
Shield's last match?
I
barely remember. Oh yeah, I remember it. It was good for what it was. It was a feel good moment. Just see the Shield back.
Yeah,
It
they were
just
never
sucks.
when they came back to me. They were never like the old Shield. You know what I mean? Like it was just for like, oh, one reunion type thing Shield, but like they were never like the original like when they first came type Shield. Like they're my favorite faction of all time. They're one of the best factions ever. For the longest,
Yes.
Evolution was my favorite, and then they surpassed them, bro. To me, like I'm not saying like they're better than Evolution, but like as far as my favorites, like
Oh, it's
Evolution was my
first
favorite.
preference.
And then the Shield came. I was like, bro, these dudes are dope. The entrance, the theme, everything about these guys is so great, bro. And I love, and I still think that I still don't understand how, even though John Cena had the match with Bray Wyatt, I still think the Shield and Wyatt match should happen at WrestleMania that year. Don't know how that match was put on the Elimination Chamber instead of WrestleMania because that was a WrestleMania match right there.
Yeah.
You could have booked John Cena with somebody else, make him fight Undertaker or something. I don't know. But anybody else could have fought somebody, but their last match, it was for what it was, you know. Because I think that was when Moxley was leaving and headed to AEW. So
Yeah. It was a feel good to see them back, you know, especially because I think at the time, Roman was on remission, so it was like, oh, good. It's good to see them back one more time. You know what I mean?
So obviously, right now we've been in this pandemic and everything. What have been some of your favorite gimmicky matches in this pandemic?
Say again.
What have been some of your favorite gimmicky matches in the pandemic? Because
Oh, gimmick.
we're fans and everything. So like they've been doing a lot of these gimmicky matches because they're trying to make things work because you can't have fans right now and everything. So, what have been some of your favorites like entertaining stuff that you've seen?
Sheesh. As far as like a gimmick, I enjoyed the NXT their version of like the 4-man Iron Man match. I've never seen that's never been done before. I enjoyed that more than the rest because it's never been done before. It's brand new, it's fresh, you know what I mean? Because usually you have Iron Man matches with just two people, and it starts getting predictable. This one kept me on my toes the entire time because it's like it took them a while. It took them a while for the first fall to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first fall to happen. It took a while for that. That's also one of my favorites. As far as another gimmick match, it's I don't know if like any specific. I don't know if they had like specific like gimmicks because of the pandemic. But I think as far as like gimmick matches, the TLC match from Sunday was good. It was really good. I think it was one of the best, like one of my favorite TLC matches in a while.
Yeah, mine stand out. Mine were the Boneyard match.
Ladder match. I'm sorry, ladder match. Sorry.
The Boneyard match was really good. Really enjoyed that, and the Stadium Stampede. The Stadium Stampede was dope, man. I really thought the Stadium Stampede.
Wow, I was so focused on WWE, I totally forgot about the Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, the Stadium Stampede was really good. I like how they did Money in the Bank too. Money in the Bank was pretty cool. They did it at the at the headquarters of WWE, so that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that was funny. That was it wasn't my favorite, but it was funny. I laughed. Yeah. I laughed at a lot of it.
I think the Boneyard match, the Boneyard match was so good. God, this thing it was so great. The Undertaker's retired, or you think he's gonna come back? Do you hear me?
Yeah, you cut off a little bit, but I heard the last thing you said. You never say never in this industry. He'll probably come back for like a one-off appearance every now and then. But it's probably
you think he's
a while from now. If he enjoys the retired life too much, he's not gonna come back.
I don't think he's retired. I mean, he's said he's retired many times to come back, but I don't think Vince McMahon, because he'll do anything for Vince McMahon. I'm saying that's his boy. Mm-hmm. If you saw the Last Ride documentary, you saw how really close they were.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think Vince wants his last match to be with no fans there. If that makes sense, like it has to be in front of an audience. And if they can have fans next year at WrestleMania, Undertaker will be on the card and he will wrestle one match, I think. I always thought this was a good way for him to go out. Number one, if WrestleMania can happen next year with an audience, have him face the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and you have Undertaker put his career on the line, and you make it a Hell in a Cell match. It's a Hell in a Cell match has been Undertaker's match for years. He's had more Hell in a Cell matches than anybody in history. Yeah. And the Fiend and Undertaker have unfinished business because they fought at WrestleMania like 5 years ago, and Bray Wyatt lost. So he can use that, for some type of reasoning. And Undertaker puts his career on the line, so you would know this is going to be his last match. It's like, oh damn, his career's on the line, so you know this is going to be it. It's going to obviously it's going to make, and it's not meant to be a show. It's not meant to be a show stealer. It won't be the best match on the card, but you'll just know like it's the fucking Undertaker. I'm saying like you have to watch his last match. You'll know it'll be his last match.
If I don't know if they should do like the career on the line stipulation because I think it'll kind of come off as predictable, in my opinion. But I do like that. You know, is obviously the Fiend never forgets. You know what I mean? He's gonna come back for certain people. So if they were to make it match.
I think you put the career on the line because in the Fiend's mind, he wants to officially end the Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to be the guy to put him away. You know what I'm saying? Because the Fiend, he's very dark. You know what I'm saying? He's very dark and mysterious. And for him to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania, that's a really big deal because only two people have done it: Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And if he's going to lose, it has to be his last match, and I think he has to put his career on the line. But Undertaker would have to know, like, this is going to be it, regardless if the match is great or not. Like, hey, this is going to be it. I'm saying, like, okay. I have to be okay with this. And predictable is not always bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not too bad. Right. Because, like I said, he's the Undertaker. So even though fans will know he's not going to win, it's not like people are starting to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the Undertaker's last match. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, it's Undertaker's last match. Like, this is going to be crazy. You know what I mean? So I think that could be a cool way for him to go out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know. I mean, there's many times when I thought he should retire. I thought he should. There were two ways I thought he could have retired. I thought him after his match with Triple H in the Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 28, like that match. I was like, bro, if he retired right now, 20-0, especially after that match was. What a better way to go out. You know what I'm saying? All three guys on the stage, they just tore it down. They showed the show at WrestleMania. Even though the big marquee match was Rock versus Cena, that was the match of the night.
It was.
And I always said that he should retire then or if the streak ever ended. And I didn't know Brock was going to be the guy to end the streak, but once the streak ended, I was like, bro, what else are you coming back for? That's it. There's nothing else to come back for.
If him and Brock had a better match, say if the Undertaker didn't get concussed midway through, I would have said, all right, he needs to retire after the streak ends. If they had a better match, I would have been like, okay, this is a good time to end it. And also, I would agree on that as well. The Hell in a Cell match with Triple H, that definitely, because it even said end of an era. You know what I mean? That would have been perfect.
Of course, they say end of an era, but then they end up having a match like last year at Australia or something like that. You know what I mean? So,
was it Australia? Or was it?
It was the one-on-one match they had in Australia. Before they did the Saudi Arabia show, they had that match. They had that one-on-one matchup. So I don't know. I mean, Undertaker's he's a legend, so obviously he can retire on how he wants. But he's just old now, and sometimes it's just hard to watch him come back and be in the ring because he's limited to do things. So it's like, when he had the match with Roman at WrestleMania, like, God, it was so hard to watch, bro, because there were so many botches, and I just felt bad for Roman because Roman was trying to carry him as much as he could, but he had to have hip surgery, and he was just out of shape, and it was just like, bro, like, it's so bad, man. He just don't feel like the Undertaker anymore, bro. Like, he just, I don't want to see that feeling. Yeah, I don't want to have that feeling when I see the Undertaker. So, like, when I see the Undertaker, I remember the Undertaker being like when he was diving over the top rope, you know what I'm saying? Like when he was able to do things, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like he's 55 now, bro. He can't do those things anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's just hard for me to watch him come back because he's been through so many injuries and he's put his body through so much. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like he's putting his body through reckless pain for no reason. You know what I mean? And there's no reason for him to do that stuff anymore because he's nothing to prove to anybody. He's on my Mount Rushmore for wrestling. Like he has nothing to prove to anybody. He's the greatest character ever. He's the most respected wrestler probably of all time by fans and wrestlers. So it's like, bro, like there's nothing else for you. I understand that he still has the fire to do it because it's hard to walk away from stuff that you love.
Something you're passionate about, it's hard to walk away.
So somebody in the chat wants to know, how would you feel if Roman and Rock happened at WrestleMania next year?
Oh, I'll be excited because there's a story there. They already planted the seed right there. Roman said, "I'm the head of the table. I'm the head of the family." You know what I mean? He just beat up his cousin.
Chief. Yeah, the tribal chief.
The tribal chief. I just beat the crap out of my little cousin. You know what I mean? And we got big cousin The Rock coming through. Like, hold up, cuz. Hold on. I'm the head of the table, first of all.
Right.
If you want to be real about it, The Rock is the head of the table. It's the highest paid actor in the world right now.
Yeah, I would love to see it, especially how Roman Reigns is now and how he's going to be built.
Mm-hmm.
The stories are there to tell. WrestleMania is in Hollywood next year, supposed to be. So I mean, obviously, The Rock is one of the biggest box office Hollywood movie stars ever.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense. It would easily be The Rock's retirement match because there's no way that he's going to beat Roman Reigns if they fought, which I would be okay with. I have no
I just
problem
hope
with
he
it.
doesn't get injured this time.
Yeah, I have no problem with Roman winning. It's going to help him, and it's going to I think that's the dream match. If he's going to come back, I don't think there's anybody else that would make sense for him to come back for besides Roman. And it doesn't even need the Universal Championship in it. Like Roman could
Yeah,
drop
it don't.
anybody in it, and they could just have the match. That could be the main event right there. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
It don't.
I
I
don't
don't
think
like it when like. Oh, sorry. Goes.
I don't think it would happen though unless fans would be there. Though if there's no fans, then it won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts.
But what were you gonna say? That what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like, I don't like it when we have a part timer going for the championship. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Even if like they're gonna lose, it kind of feel like, oh damn, that spot could have been taken to somebody else. But also like, when that part timer wins, we're gonna have a Lesnar situation all over again. Like, god damn it, you gotta wait for a big 4 pay-per-view for him to come through and have that star power to then put him over. Or what if he wins and then they carry all the way to WrestleMania? That's one of the main reasons I didn't like Brock as a champion. The first time I was like, okay, that's cool, it's something new. You know what I mean? The next,
you're talking about when he beat Cena at SummerSlam, right?
yeah, when he beat Cena at SummerSlam, I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. At first, but then after that year, and he kept winning it over and over and over again. I'm just like, I hate this. I hate this. We're doing this all over. We're doing this all over again. Why is Lesnar always the final boss?
Especially that longevity when he had it for like a year and a half. Oh man, that was
That was the one time I wanted Roman to win so it can be over, and then he didn't.
yeah, that was rough. That was rough. Somebody else in the chat wants to know favorite TNA tag team and favorite WWE tag team.
Favorite TNA tag team is Motor City Machine Guns, and I'm happy they're back too. I don't know. Did you hear me? Because you kind of like froze a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Go say it again. You can say it again.
Okay. Favorite TNA tag team is the Motor City Machine Guns. Those are my favorite. I'm glad they're back.
City, bro, they were lit. They were lit. Yeah, they were lit.
Yeah. For WWE, I would say, oh man, this is hard. I'm gonna say the Hardys. The Hardys. I'm a big fan of the High Flyers. I'm a big fan of them. I'm gonna throw AEW in there. The Young Bucks. I don't care.
Yeah, Young Bucks is dope.
Like 4 or 5 of their shirts, and the Funko Pop behind me.
My favorite TNA tag team was Beer Money. James Storm and Bobby Roode. Man, I loved Beer Money. Yeah,
you remember that series they had?
Yeah, incredible, bro.
I wouldn't watch that back like a month ago. I wouldn't watch that back, and it was dope. It was
yeah,
dope.
man. They were one of my. They were definitely my favorites. Motor City was up there. My second favorite would have been LAX though. Homicide and Hernandez, man, they were my guys, bro. LAX were my guys. WWE wise, man. As far as 2-way, probably the Hardys. Either the Hardys. Gotta throw the Usos in there. I always loved the Usos. And Rated RKO. I loved Edge and Orton as a tag team too, man. Rated RKO was really dope.
It was just very short lived, It didn't last. It wasn't as long as it should.
Yeah, it wasn't as long, but when they were together, I thought they were really cool. I liked them pairing together, especially the few they have with DX and everything.
Question though, odd pairing tag teams. What would be your favorite? Mine's Team Hell No, like an odd pairing character, like guys who you don't think will be like a dope tag team, but they end up being hilarious and like gel together. Mine's Team Hell No.
Team Hell No or Booker T and Goldust. Those would be
yes.
Those would be the two, and I gotta throw Sheamus and Cesaro in there too, man. I gotta throw because I was there. I was at that Raw when they first announced the series of the matches, and nobody was feeling it. And then when they put them as a tag team, people were like, nobody was feeling it, and they made that shit work, bro. They made that shit work tremendously, and I gotta give credit where credit's due because a lot of fans were not happy about that shit, and they ended up becoming a really good team together, man. A really good team. So that was a good odd pairing. They were cool together. They made it work. I liked the bar gimmick there. That was really dope. So I would have to say Booker T and Goldust, man. Booker T and Goldust would have to be up there, man. That shit they used to do was so fucking funny, bro. The gimmicks and everything. I remember when they used to do the hotel scene, and when this is back when wrestling was a little different. So this was like those sexual type things and everything. That was a funny odd pairing. I really liked them as a team. I really liked before he got injured. I liked Rey Mysterio and Rob Van Dam as a team too. Before RVD got hurt, and then they put him with Eddie Guerrero. Yeah. I thought RVD and Mysterio would have been a really dope tag team together before the injuries. And then Benoit and Kurt Angle too. When they were formed.
Well, yes. Yeah,
when they were put as a team, they were really cool as a team too, man. So those would be
though. I really hated how they like when Goldust was back in WWE when he was like on like his last couple years. They try to recreate that Booker T Goldust thing. I was like, why? Vince McMahon in the back was just like, find black guy, the team with Goldust. R-Truth, you look like Booker T. Put him back together. I'm like, why?
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
I didn't want it back then.
Oh, we forgot about the Rock and Mankind too. Come on now, Rock and McFoley. Yeah, Rock and Sock. That was dope too, man. Rock and Sock. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're definitely in there too. So Rock and Sock gotta show love to them. Even the New Age Outlaws, they were kind of
odd pairing. They weren't an odd pairing.
I
don't think they were.
I think some people had preferences because some people felt like they kind of were odd pairing at first, and then they became really good. So I guess your preferences, but New Age Outlaws, I would throw them in there a little bit. So I really like them. They're obviously one of the best teams of all time. They're legendary.
I hate the name, but Air Boom could have been really good if Evan Bourne didn't get popped for like smoking. You know what I mean?
Another one, Jericho, man, Big Show and Chris Jericho. I love their tag team. They were a really good tag team. Not Show Miz, Jericho. Show Miz was terrible, but Jericho was really good. They were a really good tag team together at that time period. Which sucks because it was supposed to be Edge and Jericho, which could have been really good, but Edge tore the Achilles and everything. Mm-hmm. But Jericho and Big Show, man, they made it work. They're really dope. They're a really dope team, man. It's just looking back on those time periods, man. That's when like Monday Night Raw was like you couldn't miss an episode of Raw. I'm saying like you had to watch Raw every week. Like it didn't matter. You could be chilling with a girl, I'm saying, and it's like 7 o'clock, 8. You know what I'm saying? Gotta go. Gotta watch Monday Night Raw. Time to watch Raw.
Dude, I make her watch it with me. I'm like, you gonna watch this?
Yeah, we're watching.
I'll be watching your shows on Netflix. We gonna watch this. We gonna watch this tonight.
Give me before we head out of here, give me your top 5. I always ask people, give me your top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. If you had no order, but just your top 5 favorites.
Why you gotta do this to me?
I'll give my top 5. I think it depends on the era you're from too. I'll give my top 5. John Cena, Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, CM Punk.
All right. Austin, The Rock, Jericho, Eddie Guerrero. Wait, what was it? Austin, The Rock. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan. I think I said 6, but yeah, those were
That's cool. I always been a huge fan of AJ Styles when he was from TNA to New Japan Bullet Club to now. I'm happy WWE didn't do him dirty because I was a little skeptical when he first came.
Yeah.
But they actually they did the right thing with him. They actually made him a star and put the belt on him. And they did the right things with AJ Styles. But I was a little nervous for him when he first came. I was like, man, I hope they don't do him dirty, bro, because he's so good.
You heard what like when Vince like saw him like when he like was like wrestling for him. Vince told him like, damn, I wish I had hired you like 10 years ago. What the hell?
Yeah, he's so good, bro. He's one of the. He's up there to me as one of the greatest in-ring performers ever. Like to me, the greatest in-ring performer ever to me is Shawn Michaels. But like he's in that discussion with like Shawn, Bret Hart, guys like Mr. Perfect and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Like he's Kurt Angle. He's in there with those guys.
Can you imagine Shawn Michaels in their prime, both of them in one match? Oh my goodness.
That's just foaming out of the mouth type stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what match that really my ultimate dream match never happened, and it was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 22. It was Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero, and obviously Eddie Guerrero passed away, but that match was supposed to happen at WrestleMania that year. It was supposed to be Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero, at WrestleMania 22.
I did not know that. Wow.
And that was supposed to be the match.
Sad. Now I'm
And
even more sad.
every time I think about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. The fact that match was supposed to happen, bro. Like, that could have been one of the ultimate greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. And this is back when WrestleMania wasn't like 7 hours. This is back when like WrestleMania was a good 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, this is back when like WrestleMania was like a good 3 hours. So they could have easily stole the show. Yeah, they could have tore it down. The original matches were supposed to be Triple H, John Cena was supposed to be the main event because John Cena was going to be solidified as the face of the company at the time. But it was supposed to be Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker and Kurt Angle for the world title. The match they had at No Way Out, the previous match, that was supposed to be WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. I'm this is news to me. Shoot. One dream match I wish. It's a damn shame. I just wish it happened. Undertaker Sting.
Yeah, I mean that's the ultimate one. I think that's the
ultimate one, and I'm just like, and we could have got it that one year.
Yeah,
but they wanted to do Sting Triple H.
I heard that Vince McMahon was never high on that match. That's why he was never high on that match. Another one I want to throw out there too is Kurt Angle and Bret the Hitman Hart. Oh my gosh, those two in their primes. My goodness.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Or Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. Or imagine Kurt and Bret in a submission match. Oh my gosh, bro! Like this a straight submission match, bro. That would have been incredible. That would have been absolutely incredible. So I definitely
Kenny Omega Styles.
Yeah.
That's on Kenny's list, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen because AJ's talking about, oh, this is my last contract. After this, I'm done.
Yeah. You never know, though, man. Like I said, it's hard to walk away, so you never know. He could always change his mind.
One more match, and then that's it.
There's only very few people. Like Shawn Michaels said it, but then he came back for that stupid show. But like the only person that ever stuck to it was Stone Cold. He's never come back.
Yes, the only one.
Once he walked away, it was it for him. He's like, I'm never coming back, bro. And he came back after that. And he retired in his prime too. He was like 37, 38 years old when he walked away too. He walked away because of injuries and everything.
Yeah, but
I'm sure they probably offered him tons of matches to come back.
Yeah, the CM Punk's name was thrown at him, I think, before. And even that time when he was inducting, I think he was inducting Bret Hart, I think. I can't remember who was he inducting. There was one, they wanted him and Hogan to have a match. And yeah, apparently Hogan didn't like how he was getting booed and Stone Cold was getting cheered, apparently. I was like, oh,
of course, bro. I mean, that was supposed to be the WrestleMania 18 match right there.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be the WrestleMania 18 match, but I think the egos got involved. I don't think Hogan wanted to do the favor for him. I don't think Austin wanted to do the favor for him either because Austin had took his spot and he had overachieved pretty much everything Hogan did for the company as far as sales and everything. And I don't think that, they both have rights. You know what I'm saying? Like Austin's like, bro, I'm not playing his game. You feel me? Like I've been here. I've been here for.
You don't want a Shawn Michaels situation again.
Like, we don't want that. You don't want that.
Oh my god!
I tell anybody, bro. Obviously, people always want to bash Triple H for the things that he's done because he's married Stephanie and he has that power. I'm like, bro, nobody has more abusive power than Hulk Hogan in the history of wrestling, bro. This guy has so much ultimate power. Even when Triple H came back and won the belt, he had to drop it to Hulk Hogan. He dropped that bitch to Hulk Hogan like a month later after he just won it. You feel me? Like
dropped it to Hogan. Even back in WCW, the type of contracts like him and like the NWO had, like full creative control on their characters. Like, what were they thinking? Giving up like a guy, like I don't care like how big of a star he is. Like somebody, you give somebody that type of contract, they're gonna do you dirty in the long run. Maybe I don't know. That's crazy though. You can't.
That was the downfall of WCW, man. That's why it plummeted.
Too many guys had that contract.
That's why it plummeted to the abyss because that creative control was so bad, and obviously they're only going to put people over they want to put over. They're only going to do the things they want to do. It's the same situation with Shawn and Bret. You know what I'm saying? When Shawn won the belt and Bret said he was talking about he was going to work with all his friends, that clicked pretty much. And he was like, "Yo, like he's just working with all his friends." You know what I'm saying? And it's just like. A part of the reason too is that Vince McMahon allows that shit to happen. I'm saying like he allows some of these superstars to have these abusive power when he doesn't have to because he's the fucking boss. I'm saying whatever happens, he's gonna say.
Oh, not no more.
He's gonna say what happens. He's supposed to say what happens through everything. But yeah, I guess it's wrestling. It is what it is. Somebody in the chat wants to know favorite TNA feud. What was your favorite TNA feud?
Favorite TNA feud. I would say, well, Beer Money, Motor City Machine Guns. That was one of my favorites. I also liked, just because of the series of matches, Angle and AJ when they had their little feud. I enjoyed that. Also, AJ Styles' return when he came back and he turned emo for a little bit, came out with the music, and he was just beefing with everybody. Him and Christopher, any match with him and Christopher Daniels, yes. Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe, I love that.
Kurt Angle Sting too. Kurt Angle
Sting, yes.
My Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle, even though it was like real personal shit.
That was so personal. When I found out the story about that, I was like, what?
But I really liked their feud though. It was good TV. They had great matches. They had a great overall feud, I thought. Motor City and Beer Money.
Except for that MMA challenge thing that Jeff Jarrett was doing. I hated that. That was stupid.
Motor City and Beer Money, great feud. And I also love the feud with Aces and Eights. Anything with Aces and Eights at that time. Aces was.
If they would have did that a few years earlier when Sons of Anarchy was at its peak, I think it would have got a little more traction. Because later on it started, and also they changed up a few people on their ranks, but they had it like Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoe, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? I was like, this is really stupid.
I liked it though. I was into it. I liked the backstory to it. I liked the concept of it at that time. Cause I went back and rewatched the promo packages when Bully Ray was breaking down, the story of Aces and Eights. I'm like, bro, this was good shit, bro. Like this was this was such good stuff, man. So we'll go ahead and sign off. Appreciate you being a guest. I'll let everybody
no problem. Thank you for having me, man.
Tell everybody where they can find you. Just plug in your social medias, whatever your social medias are.
Awesome. You can find me on TikTok, Luna_9cents. Also starting a second page on TikTok as well, specifically for my Lucius Suede character. The guy that talk like this, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful women, fried chicken, and lots of cash. Yeah, that's going to be, it's also on TikTok, Lucius_Suede, YouTube, Lou Nonsense, Facebook fan page, Lou Nonsense, also Instagram, Lou Nonsense. Oh, and Twitter, all Lou Nonsense. You can find me there.
Make sure you guys go check him out, subscribe to his channels, and stay tuned for the stuff that I got upcoming. I got some upcoming stuff with TCW that I'll keep you guys keep in touch with, and the draft the next upcoming draft that I have planned. Not a date yet, still working on the date, but you guys stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated.